Democracy is often described as humanity's greatest invention, a political technology designed to distribute power equally. But if democracy is truly universal, why does it collapse so easily in some societies? Why does it turn into chaos, corruption, or even dictatorship while thriving peacefully in others? Imagine a hospital where every patient gets a vote on which artery to cut during surgery. Or an airplane where passengers debate which buttons the pilot should press. It sounds absurd, yet that's exactly how most democracies operate. Millions of people, many with no background in economics, law, or science, decide the future of a nation through emotion and instinct. This isn't arrogance, it's biology. Humans didn't evolve to manage complex systems. We evolved to survive in small groups, guided by feelings and authority, not by technical reasoning. The brain still responds to charisma more than competence, to emotion more than logic. So democracy is not a natural instinct. It's a learned behavior, an intellectual experiment running on primitive hardware. That's why democracy doesn't work everywhere. It depends on an educated population capable of understanding consequences. Without that, elections resemble popularity contests more than rational selection. The ballot becomes less a tool of progress and more a mirror of collective ignorance. History is filled with examples. Ancient Athens, often celebrated as the birthplace of democracy, voted to execute its greatest general, then lost the war that decision was meant to win. Centuries later, Weimar Germany held free elections, only to democratically hand power to one of history's most destructive regimes. The system didn't fail, the people inside it did. And it's still happening. Across the modern world, emotional politics regularly defeats expertise. Voters demand cheap energy, low taxes, and endless subsidies, all at once, ignoring the basic laws of economics. When reality strikes back, they blame the leader they elected, then vote for new ones promising the same impossible balance. It's not malice, it's cognitive limitation. If this surprised you, wait until you hear what comes next. Because the same principle that makes democracy beautiful, the idea that everyone's voice matters, also makes it fragile. In theory, every vote carries equal weight. In practice, not every vote carries equal understanding. When complex issues like monetary policy or healthcare reform are reduced to slogans, democracy becomes less a system of reason and more a marketplace of emotion. Consider the economy. Imagine a nation voting on whether to print more money to help the poor. Most people, understandably, want relief. But few understand inflation, credit cycles, or monetary velocity. The majority might vote for what feels compassionate and accidentally destroy the currency that feeds them. In medicine, this would be malpractice. In politics, it's called democracy. This doesn't mean the people are stupid. It means the system overestimates the average person's ability to process complexity. That's not an insult. It's a measurable fact of cognitive science. Decision-making requires information, and when information is scarce or distorted, emotions take over. The louder candidate wins, not the smarter one. Some nations have learned to buffer this. Japan, Germany, and several northern European countries built strong institutions before full democracy took hold. Education, discipline, and trust were established first. The vote came later. Others tried to do it backward, installing elections before literacy, populism before productivity, and the result was predictable. Endless cycles of crisis, corruption, and collapse. Democracy, then, is not a cause of progress, but a consequence of it. It emerges only when certain social conditions align: education, equality, and trust. Without these, it becomes an illusion of participation, a ritual that legitimizes power rather than distributing it. Many nations hold elections every few years, but the outcomes change nothing because the underlying structure, the collective understanding remains the same. You can think of it like software running on faulty hardware. The program is elegant, but the system crashes because the processor, the public mind, isn't strong enough to handle it. That's why democracies often oscillate between freedom and authoritarianism, between reason and rage. It's not ideology that causes the swing. It's biology reacting to uncertainty. The modern world adds another twist. Information has become both abundant and corrupted. Algorithms reward outrage over accuracy, and the emotional brain, wired for conflict, responds perfectly. Voters now inhabit digital tribes, each convinced they alone represent the people. The result? Millions of isolated majorities shouting across the void, mistaking noise for consensus. In such a climate, democracy starts to decay from within. Experts are dismissed as elitists, facts are treated as opinions, and feelings become policies. The system still votes, but it no longer reasons. And when a democracy stops reasoning, it doesn't need a dictator to die. It commits suicide quietly, one election at a time. So, in what contexts does democracy truly function? The evidence points to three overlapping conditions. First, an educated public capable of delayed gratification, understanding that pain today can mean stability tomorrow. Second, institutions strong enough to resist emotional manipulation. And third, a shared cultural belief in rules stronger than personalities. Remove any of those, and the democratic experiment begins to unravel. Democracy isn't a guarantee of freedom. It's a fragile equilibrium between emotion and reason, between biology and civilization. It survives only when societies invest in the slow, often boring work of education, discipline, and accountability. It dies when people confuse opinion with expertise, or passion with truth. In the end, democracy doesn't fail because people vote. It fails because people vote without understanding what they're choosing. It's not tyranny that destroys it. It's ignorance wearing the mask of freedom. If this made you see democracy in a different light, leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you think it can adapt to a world ruled by emotion and information overload? Don't forget to like the video if it challenged your assumptions. Share it with someone who still thinks democracy works the same everywhere, and subscribe for more analytical explorations of how societies evolve and sometimes collapse.